viewers, Crichton Prime here again, coming at you from Crichton TV on Icon. Welcome to my next overview for Beast Wars Transformers. For this episode, whilst under captivity, Megatron lets Ravage in on a little secret in the agenda part 2. Also, don't mind the different shirt. In the confusion of rushing out of the house, I put the wrong shirt on. Blame this hot weather, okay? Okay, whilst Megatron's being held captive in Ravage's awesome-looking ship, Optimus is giving Silverbolt a piece of his mind because of Silverbolt's affections towards a certain female Predacon. You all know it's Black Arachnia. And Optimus, restraining himself, sort of confines Silverbolt to quarters and assigns Cheetor to bring in Black Arachnia. And Silverbolt kind of goes a little bit rogue and punches Cheetor out cold while they're alone. And he escapes whilst doing some impressive acrobatic moves to avoid the autoguns. And as Rattrap says, we got trouble with a capital B. Like I said, Megatron's sort of currently being held in Ravage's ship, whilst he's gloating about the Tri-Predacus Council smooching the skid plates of the Maximal Elders. Is there any wonder he rebelled? But of course, Ravage is pretty confident at this point. You know, even though the Maximals have nothing at this point because they were expecting rescue. But of course, Ravage lets Megatron in on how the emergency shutdown happened, the one that triggered Megatron's capture in the first place. And he revealed Tarantulas, who turned out to be a lieutenant of the Predacon secret police. Ever the mole he is, that Tarantulas. And of course, Optimus and Cheetor are sent to find a little secret stash of energon that Megatron's been keeping this whole time, thanks to Lieutenant Tarantulas. Meanwhile, Waspinator's off on his own little special assignment, heading off to a sort of unexploded volcano, a sort of tall mountain, whilst Black Arachnia's following closely behind, secretly behind on her flying stasis pod. But then Silverbolt comes along and tries to persuade her to come along, and whilst they're having a little moment together, while she's trying to tell him to shut up, and he's going on about her inner Maximal goodness, she's kissing him in to shut him up, hopefully to kill him as well. And Waspinator, being the usual idiot that he is, he reaches the coordinates, but he doesn't notice the flying stasis pod coming head-on right behind him as he's smashed to bits. And of course, Silverbolt saves Black Arachnia from falling, and he's going on about being a heroic character. He's really pushing on the big, dumb and stupid. That's what Black Arachnia likes. Whilst they're sort of gathering themselves in front, near the mountain, Waspinator's busy gathering himself as well. The poor guy.
Oh, not fair. Waspinator minding own business when bang! Gets all stasis pod shoved right up the kazooie.
Okay, following the search for the Energon cache, which turned out to be a trap set up by Inferno, which was soon thwarted by an explosion. Of course, Ravage is going on about how Megatron, even in captivity, still operates by his own agenda. And Megatron's sort of filling him in on why he stole the golden disc in the first place. Of course, looking for Energon, that was just a bonus, you know, in order to accrue and gain potential for power. But the real reason was because he lets us in on a little history here. Of course, it's not canon to real life, but it's still pretty educational. The golden disc was on the Voyager spacecraft just as the secret war between the Autobots and the Decepticons began. Megatron found it and inscribed a secret message. And even though the disc was destroyed, Megatron still had a fragment, and he projected a little message here from the original Megatron, whom I might like to point out is voiced by Gary Chalk, who's the same voice as Optimus Primal, so it's sadly not Frank Welker. But it still kind of works. It's a message from the past about how he's failed, but he knows how transwarp technology is being developed, and he's hoped that any Decepticon descendants will find this message. And Rattrap takes Megatron's word in consideration and retracts the bars, and Ravage kind of switches sides, as in his ship both him and Megatron ambush Optimus and Shield up behind as they proceed to attack the Maximal base. And Rampage utters the words, "Decepticons forever!" Whew, I love that. Hope you enjoyed this episode when you see it, if you haven't already. Coming next, Megatron makes a final attempt to win the Beast Wars and change history in the Agenda Part 3. Well, hopefully the next overview will be in a little bit cooler weather. Because today it's been unbearable. The heat's been unbearable. It's unbearable, I tell you!